Hey guys, welcome back to Zakari Hikari. My name is Zach, and here we discuss everything related to manifestation, conscious manifestation, higher consciousness, Neville Goddard, law of assumption, all that good stuff. Before I start, if you guys want to identify what the story is that you keep leaking your power to and keeps keeping you out of that identity, you can work with me one-on-one. All my information is down below. Okay, so guys, I want to start with this. Every time you give your awareness, okay, your awareness to someone else's story, you've handed over the pen that writes your own reality. I'm going to repeat that again. Every time you give your awareness to someone else's story, you have handed over the pen that writes reality. All right, I'm going to dig into this a little bit more, okay? So every day, you are either creating from your own awareness or you are outsourcing it to something out there. All right? Most people don't even know that they're doing the second one. 99.9% of humanity doesn't understand that they're doing the second one, right? Now, I want to kind of go into, and this is just an example, but I had someone come on my channel the other day and got really angry, right? And there's always room here for everybody. And I look at that as a cry for help, okay? But they got so angry and so in their own, emotions. And they wrote this whole comment about how it's so much more difficult with all these limiting assumptions of how it's so much more difficult for women to shift into their power and all the years of oppression, and that I'm a sociopath for not putting my awareness on wars all over the world and all these issues and problems. And just, just even reading it was just like oozing with this negative energy, right? And now I want to make this very clear. This is not about a rant against anybody. This is a lesson in identity, okay? It's not about who's right. It's about how people leak their power away and their awareness away, I should say, to everything out there, okay? And whether it's out there or an internal story, you're still consistently leaking your power, okay? So let's talk about what giving your power away looks like in a day-to-day situation, okay? So maybe it's watching the news to tell you how to feel, right? And ascribing to the next headline or what you need to do and all the doom and gloom and the doom scrolling that so many people are addicted to these days. Or maybe it's looking and looking for the answer in that one comment you're going to leave on somebody's video, and you think that they're going to come back to you and just completely magically transform your life. Or it's giving your power away to, the economy and what's going on out there, once again, related back to the news or whatever else is going on and threatening humanity in the moment. Or defining yourself by the need for somebody else's approval for your own existence. Now remember, everything is you reflected in this world. That's like everything. Everything is you reflected back to you. So when you're being that person who's trying to kind of, get that approval from someone else or something else out there, you are literally then being the version of yourself who's not getting the approval. Right? Like you're literally giving your fulfillment or your wish fulfilled, you are hinging it on something else out there that is still you. Because even when you're giving your power or giving the pen over to something or someone else is, or something or someone else is deciding for you, technically it's still you because everything's reflected back to you anyways. But because you are the only power, you are giving your power to someone else to decide whether you can have the thing or whether you can have the job or what life you're going to live or whatever it is. Or you could just be giving your power away to external circumstances or inner circumstances or whatever it is, you are giving the power away. But what I've noticed with a lot of people, especially in this day and age, is everybody is trying to come through this manifestation. And I really don't even like that word anymore because it's lost all meaning. But manifestation, this conscious creation journey, under the limited lens of assumptions of what they believe the world to be. And they are trying to operate from within that defined framework, thinking that there are limitations to what they can have, who they can be, whatever. Right? I mean, I'll give you, even for me, if you watch my OCD video, and I'll link it up here, again, I don't know which side it is, always gonna forget that, but that's fine. But if you watch my OCD video, I didn't have, in that one limited experience I was identifying with, I, by all means, would never have ever really expected to be living the life I'm living now in this very house in Tokyo that I'm making this video from, right? I have clients who have literally, you can watch past videos, you can see it in the community tab. Once they identified the story, they were able to actually then understand where they were leaking their power to. But even from we're looking broad stroke perspective right now. Even if you're saying, okay, well, I'm gonna come on here and I get it, right? When the channel gets bigger and it's gonna start reaching different people and it's gonna start testing different audiences, and that's just how it works. But a lot of people are not, the people I work with are the ones who are ready to find the message. Okay? And if you're ready to find the message and actually go deeper, you know who you are. You know when to go out and reach out, So I'm not gonna sit here and tell you what to do. But the thing is that if you are coming into this with all of this backstory of who you need to be or what the world is and where your attention needs to go, if you understand that your awareness is your own individual world, okay? And if you are tending to your own world, that is going to have a larger effect on everything out there than anything you can do to try and flip a script. Then try to flip the reality, then try to work against that reality, because even by trying to work against it, you are giving your awareness to the problem that is keeping it there. And because mass consciousness, everybody is putting their awareness on the problem, it still proceeds to stay there, right? This is the same story for individual consciousness as mass consciousness, but you decide your relation to all of it. So yeah, if you want to, if the commenter who's watching this video right now wants to call me a sociopath, fine. But who's living the happier life right now? Right? I don't ascribe my attention to any of that bullshit because it doesn't directly affect my day-to-day life. I have friends in the middle of a war zone right now. I have clients in the middle of war zones right now, and their life is absolutely peaceful because even with sirens blaring, they are not putting their awareness on it. So they are protected because they know who they are as consciousness. They understand this at the highest level of the illusion. Okay? So let's go into why people feel so inclined to defend that lens. Okay, and this is something that I've noticed kind of in different ways. It really does affect, all of the humanity, so to speak. Okay, so let's talk about your lens is going to fight to stay alive, even if it's the very thing that's keeping you stuck. And let's look at the mass consciousness perspective of this. Okay, so if someone sees the world as dangerous or oppressive, or, the victim mindset that I always go into and talk about, that's going to be their reality. Their awareness is only going to filter for danger. You can go into, if you want to go into the psychology of it, the reticular activating system, like even that, that's still a limited term that we try to use to make sense of all of this. But your awareness is going to keep going to and finding reasons why the world is dangerous. If they see the world as hopeless, everything they see is going to confirm that truth back to them. And then they fall into this pit of despair thinking that there's no way out. Guys, your identity is going to fight to keep the lens alive. It's going to fight to keep its lens, even if that is the thing that is keeping you stuck. It's not personal, guys. It's mechanical. Okay? When someone calls you heartless or delusional for not ascribing to their lens, right? They're really just protecting their own. They don't want to move out of that lens. They feel, safe in that lens. And once again, everyone is all you anyway, so it doesn't even matter, right? But it's just reflecting back for an old state of awareness that you might have once had. It doesn't matter where the lens came from. It's in the moment of, all right, well, am I going to take this on, or am I going to, tend to my own garden, my own awareness, my own life? So how to reclaim your power? Let's go into that, okay? You don't change the world by convincing it. You don't change the world by efforting. You don't change the world by struggling. You don't change the world by forcing against one specific reality, trying to fight against it, okay? You change it by deciding who you are in it. I'm going to repeat that. You don't change the world by trying to fight against it or trying to change it or change one version of it. You change it by deciding who you are in it. All right? Shift the focus from trying to convince the world to deciding who you're being. Choosing peace in the middle of chaos. In the middle of your own life, choosing peace. Choosing abundance when the economy says otherwise. Watch my other video that I did before on money and my personal situation back in 2020, right? Choosing love when fear feels easier. That just brought into a thing in my mind. I think it was like something I saw recently. I don't know. It was a random algorithm video, but I think it might have been Jane Fonda or something. She said something about choosing love when fear would have been easier. I could just be making that up. It was some celebrity somewhere in, the whatever algorithm. But choosing love when the fear is trying to call your attention to it. Okay? This isn't theory, guys. This is the difference between knowing words and living them. It's exactly what I walk my clients through. Trying to look at seriously your own individual reality, your situation, the assumptions that you've been giving, the lifeline that you've been keeping alive through your awareness that you're not even aware of because you're so in it, right? Ever heard that saying? I'm forgetting English sayings, but it's like you can't see the forest through the trees, or you can't see the tree through the forest. Someone correct me in the comments. I know there's gonna be like 5 commenters, like, whatever. I speak Japanese most of my day, so. But you can't, you're so in it that you can't even see it for what it is. You think that it's like, that's just how it works, the illusion. You become so entrapped in it. It's like, well, I hear this, I get it. Fundamentally, I understand it. But, guys, when you start living it, it's not theory. Reality has no choice but to conform around what you're living and who you're deciding to be. But if every day you're going up and you're saying, oh my God, the world feels so dangerous, or the economy feels so off, or my life feels so loveless, or blah, 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 and blah, 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 or I saw this on the news, or I saw this on the algorithm, or I saw this clickbait thing. I mean, I've always been someone, and this is just a personal anecdote for me, but I've always been someone, I never comment on Instagram things ever. I just, forever, even YouTube videos, when I watched, I very rarely would ever feel called to really comment unless it was something that was really speaking to me or feeling out of love or whatever else, right? And I know there's a lot of people who watch me personally and don't necessarily comment. And if you want to comment, obviously it's very appreciated, because the more that this message reaches more people, the more that light is going to shine and help others. But whatever you feel called to do, I don't care. The thing is, okay, everybody, it's like they see something and they immediately just give their awareness to it and say that that's their reality. And then because of that, then they start seeing other things in reality that was related to the news, or related to something that they saw, or some injustice they saw in the world. And then they start giving all their power away to that. And then they start labeling themselves as a victim. And then they've convinced themselves so strongly in that self-concept of victimhood, whether it's what they were born into, or the economic situation that they were used to, or whatever happened to them, or whatever the fuck it is, that becomes their lens. That is the glasses that they put on, and how they're seeing the world through. And through those glasses, all they're going to see are other examples of where they are powerless, or where that thing proves to be true, or they're seeing other examples of injustices, and then they become that commenter who the message just flies right over their head. And they think that they are destined to be this martyr who has to go out there and try to force and fight against everything, holding this anger in their heart that absolutely transforms nothing and just brings about more injustices and more things to complain about. I did a video, I'm going to link it up here, one of the sides, that was, it was Stop Giving Your Power Away. When everyone was giving their power away later last year, when this, I'm not going to go into the details about it, but you can't claim to be the center of reality. You can't claim to be the center of the mirror and still be giving your power away to everything outside there. You just can't do it. And the people who are not ready for this message are not ready for it. And they're going to continually stay in the same loop, going around and around and around of unhappiness, of seeing misfortunes, of believing in misfortunes. And that's going to be their life. And they're going to just keep creating this self-imposed cage that they don't know how to break out of. And that's not a knock on anybody. That's why I'm here. I went through the cage. I literally, maybe I will do the part 2 eventually on my whole, whatever the thumbnail I did in the story, because I didn't know how to go about it, because I started choosing all these different things. I didn't want to have to go back necessarily to go through, and I can't remember half of it anyways. But I'll sit down and I'll get that out there. But guys, I went through it because I'm telling you, it's not going through changing. It's through transcending. It's through understanding that you don't have to ascribe to everything out there that's being handed to you anymore and keep leaking your power away. But the sneaky thing is, most people don't even understand where their assumptions are, or what assumptions they're holding, or what stories about everything that they're telling their entire life. Or back to my levels of creation, the levels that I had before, they don't even know what the secret assumptions are they're holding, or maybe they're not so secret. They're just so attuned to them. Like I get a lot of clients that sometimes they need a couple of sessions, and that's fine. That's no judgment, but they understand like all the mechanics of this. But then when they look at their lives, they're not even realizing all the assumptions that they're carrying. That's why they're not seeing anything different. And then once they see it, right? You need to just understand this isn't this big thing of like listening to sleep tapes and doing affirmations all day. And I saw another commenter in the, well, affirmations and all that. It's guys, I'm not saying that techniques are not important or that they don't work. I'm saying, what is the awareness from that you're doing the techniques, or the techniques and what you're actually choosing, anything related to what's keeping you stuck in the same reality, in the same existence of seeing all the shit that you're seeing. Because if your life is not looking the way that you want it to look, and you're watching these YouTube videos, and you're doing all the techniques, and you're fucking one of the high flyers, and you're doing all this shit, but you're not actually seeing anything out there, then the problem isn't with the technique. The problem is with your identity. And that message on this channel has never changed from day one to now, and it never will, because that's what it is. No one to change but self. But you can't change who you are without understanding who you're being. Okay? That's what I want to kind of draw your attention to, because it's really about you. It's about no one else but you. There's only you. Your lens is not the truth. It's a choice. Everyone always says, oh, well, I have this pattern. Well, once you understand that you have a pattern, it's not a pattern anymore. It's a choice. You're making that choice deliberately, whether it's consciously or unconsciously, because it might not even feel like you have control over it, which is 99.9% of people. Okay? But the second you stop giving your power away to the loudest story in the room, you get to choose differently. And if you don't even know what that story is, or you have such a plethora of fucking stories, it's like an encyclopedia of just volumes of all these stories, then that is where you want someone to help you figure out where your awareness is going. Okay? Because the second you start living this, the second you truly understand it, reality literally starts rearranging around you. And I had a client last night. She had an SP, and they, no contact, started reached out again, and all of a sudden her awareness went back to all the old stories. Boom. Old reality, reflipped again. And she was like, what the fuck? I realized it has nothing to do with the SP. It's all about me. And that is where the work really started with her. Okay? Again, guys, I want you to understand your lens is not reality. It is a choice. Okay? And if you're stuck in the same loop of putting your awareness on the same stories, or at least seeing the same things, not even understanding where your awareness is going, that is what I work clients through. Okay? That's what I help you guys to see, because at the end of the day, we are all one consciousness, and we are here to see for each other. Because usually the awareness that you're putting your awareness on that you're not even aware of is the one that you're not going to be able to find, because it's so sneaky, and that's the whole reason reality looks the way it does. Whew. So the whole point is I help you finding that lens, identifying it, walking you through it, shifting it, and going from there. And again, that's why I don't do cookie cutter advice. I don't do cookie cutter, let's just do these affirmations, or listen to this affirmation tape, or do this, or this one. That's not what I do. It's about finding where your awareness is. It's a personal journey. That's why, for all those people out there who have listened to those like high-flying affirmation tapes, this is going to be a new impression we do on this channel, for 21 days and nothing changes, that's because it's not actually touching on the awareness of what the story is that you're telling in the first place. All right? So if you guys want help with that, links in the description. But I want you to understand this. It's all you. You have the choice. So the question always is, Do you want to keep living someone else's story, or do you want to live your own? Do you want to keep giving your pen to someone else or something else out there to decide for you, or do you want to write your own? And you can't write a new story over a page that still has words there, because it's just going to be a jumbled fucking mess. And that is what we need to identify, so we can clear it, then move on, choose again. All right? But guys, stop giving your power away. Stop fucking jumping at every news sensation or every single thing that you see on Instagram, or everything you see or you hear, or you even in your own life, the thing your boss said, the thing your wife said, the thing that, like, stop giving all your attention to all these things and claiming it as reality. You're leaking power without even realizing it. And once you take the pen back, once you identify the story, and you understand that this is where my awareness was going, this was the leak, you can plug up the leak, write a new story. All right? So guys, I love you. For those of you who are meant to feel this, if you felt something, then you know. All right? I've been through it. I get it. This is all love here. There's never judgments. This isn't even a judgment against that commenter or any of the commenters on the channel. I get it. We're all at different stages of this journey, but I'm never going to apologize for the message that has been working and helping so many people. When you're ready to hear it, you'll hear it. If you're not ready to hear it in this lifetime, you're hearing it in another lifetime, and you are getting it. Okay? All right. So I love you guys, and I will talk to you again soon. I'm going to be recording a few exciting videos this weekend. One of them I'm super stoked about, so look out for that. It's going to come out. I might do a video on this. I don't know, what's today? Tuesday, I think. So release video Tuesday. Yeah, I'll do another video at some point later this week. I don't even know what date it is, to be honest with you. No, today's Friday. Yeah, I'm releasing a video. Today's Friday. I'm releasing a video today. You'll get another video before another one, but there's another video I want to release next Friday that I'm going to be super stoked about. So look out for that one. And if you guys have any questions, let me know. If you want help walking through this, you know how to find me. All right? All right. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you again soon.